Welcome to the Nest Podcast, your home for nerd entertainment and sports talk, where your hosts, Brandon and Zach, hash out what's happening in video games and sports every week. Enjoy the show.
Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to another episode of the Nest Podcast. This is episode number 58, the Jack Lambert episode presented by Sportszilla. I'm your host, Brandon, and joining me are my co-hosts, Zach and Justin. What's up, fellas?
Yo.
Justin, welcome back. The highly anticipated return.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, guys. I had a little bit of something come up. I've been gone for a while. I've been trying to get back for a minute. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, well, we're definitely glad to have you. I see you're already rocking the Falcons. Pulled off a big dub.
That's right. Finally, we actually looked like we had a defense, which was amazing.
Yeah, something to be proud of. So you're wearing the shirt first thing, gotta rock it while it's fresh. Julio
My whole
Jones.
closet's nothing but Tennessee.
I know it is. I broke out the UT shirt this week because they actually won. So
look at that.
It's a good weekend for us fans.
Hey, for fans of certain sport, for certain teams, I would not want to be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan this morning.
Nope.
No.
Oof. Justin and I were talking before we came online that I bet they wish they would have kept Josh Dobbs now. But he was just traded last week to the Jags, who lost Nick Foles. And now this week, it looks like Ben Roethlisberger might be done for a career.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I was going to say they've said he's out for the season, but I bet he might hang it up here.
From what it looks like to me and sounds like to me, it sounds like it's a UCL sprain or a tear. If it's a full-on tear and requires Tommy John surgery, Zach, you and I, we know about Tommy John surgery from following baseball. That happens routinely in the sport that we follow and cover. The recovery from that, if you're a young athlete, is pretty decent. The recovery rate is not bad, but the older guys that get it have a very hard time.
Right.
I don't see a 37, 38-year-old professional quarterback who's played 17 years being able to come back from a Tommy John.
Yeah. I mean, unless he goes to like some crazy place that you can inject stem cells and he gets a fast track recovery, I don't know if he'll recover fully from that. Because like you said, that's typically a younger guy's surgery to get. He probably should have hung it up before this anyway. So I think this is just ammo for his decision to retire.
Well, and every off season it's like Ben Roethlisberger contemplating retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talked about it this year already before the season started.
Right. It seems like the past 2 or 3 years that's been the off season rumor is he going to retire? Is this the last season that we're going to see Big Ben? And he keeps coming back. I think he's probably done now.
Yeah, he probably was chasing one more ring just to put it in a feather in his cap. But man, it's looking bleak for him. And I mean, he's had a great career. He's been playing for a long time, and nothing to scoff at. Definitely a Hall of Famer in my book.
Yeah, I agree too. And, it's perfect segue into another future Hall of Famer that is likely done for at least half the season, if not a little bit more, Drew Brees. That completely derails the Saints. And, I was saying last week that their championship window was only about another year or so. Oof, that slammed in a hurry.
Yeah, it sure did.
Now, I got to say, being an NFC South fan, watching Cam struggle and talk about possible retirement, watching Winston struggle, hearing about Drew Brees going down, and knowing that Matt Ryan's healthy and playing pretty decent, kind of makes me feel a little good, because if you'd asked me last week, I would have said we didn't have a chance in the NFC South. But now those chances are looking pretty good, especially with Drew Brees, the legend of the NFC South, being hurt.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the only hope that they have is that he beats his injury, comes back a little bit early, and shows no effects, and they're able to hang with. But I definitely see Atlanta moving into the front runner position in the NFC South.
Yeah, 100%.
Feels
So.
good. Now I know what the Patriots feel like playing against like the Dolphins and all the shitty teams all the time.
Yeah, the junior varsity team that we had to go up against yesterday down in Miami.
Shit.
And think the final score was 43-0.
That's sad.
Did you catch any of the highlights from that game or whatever to know how they actually scored those points? It wasn't just a Tom Brady air assault. There were 2 pick sixes
Jeez.
on back-to-back possessions in the fourth quarter. The Patriots didn't try to run the score up. They ran the ball 36 times. They didn't go out there and just try to slaughter. That's just how fucking bad the Dolphins are.
Man.
You know what's good?
Imagine if the Pats turned it on.
You know what's good about them playing the Dolphins is they got a chance to get it to Antonio Brown early and often and work him into that scheme. I know, he scored and he had a heck of a game, but he was trying to go up for the ball quite a bit, and he's not used to Tom Brady throwing that back shoulder pass like he always does. And so that was kind of like, I hate to say this because I don't hate on the Dolphins at all. I mean, how can you hate the Dolphins? But playing the
It's
Dolphins,
almost like hating the Browns.
yeah, I mean, like that was like a practice. That was like a scrimmage.
It kind of was, and it's sad to say that, but whenever you walk away 43-0. Oh, and by the way, your kicker missed 3 kicks that day. It was a practice. It was a glorified practice, and the practice squad moves on to Dallas next.
Yeah. You think that Miami's now playing for the number 1 pick?
If they do you think they go for Tua right away?
You have to.
Yeah.
They do.
I was talking with someone earlier that said that they would not go for Tua, that they would go and beef up an offensive line, trade down to maybe get a receiver and beef up their offensive line and wait for Lawrence in 2 years. And I was like, man, there's a lot of risks involved with that. What if Lawrence gets hurt? What if he's not as good as you think he is? What if Tua becomes the next thing, Justin,
when's the last time the Dolphins had a good quarterback? Honestly,
Dan Marino.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. you got to go grab a guy that's been in there since a freshman and just dominated college football.
I agree.
I mean, him and Lawrence and Tua are 2 of the best quarterbacks to come out probably in the last 10 years, probably since Peyton and them came out. I mean, that's kind of the level they're on. I mean, you got Baker and all these other players, but Tua and Lawrence are on a different level than Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, Baker played in the Big 12, which he didn't have hardly any competition there. So
Jalen Hurts is tearing it up at Oklahoma, if that tells you anything.
Right. Yeah, Tua has had to play the best teams and the best players in the SEC. Whether you like it or not, that's just the way college football is. So yeah, Tua is way more tested than the most talked about quarterbacks as of late. And while we're on quarterbacks, I want to recant my MVP pick now that I have to think about it. I'm going with Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
He's been tearing it out there.
2-week sample size, and he's been absolutely dominant. The 3 early favorites for MVP have got to be Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, and Lamar Jackson. So yeah, he's definitely in that conversation.
He'll probably get hurt next week or some shit.
Oh, Jesus. That's just your luck with picks lately. Like your quarterbacks, your running backs, everybody on your fantasy team's just like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah. Maybe I should beat Big Ben to it and just retire.
No.
My team just keeps getting hurt.
Well, let's see. You're a 2-time champ. Ben has what, 2?
I don't know.
I think he has 2.
He got one in,
sure.
2014 against the Cardinals, something like that, or 2010.
I can't even recall.
One.
I don't know when the Steelers won this championship. I know he has at least one, maybe two. So I know you have 2 championships. So I mean, you're at least you're in the conversation to retire.
Yeah.
I hope you don't though. I hope you keep playing.
Oh, I'm just bullshitting. But now that Drew Brees is hurt, you got to expect Alvin Kamara to just be fed the ball. And will they be able to? They, as in the rest of the NFL, will the NFL be able to stifle that?
Here's the thing with Kamara. He's like Barkley. He's kind of bulletproof. Just the way he plays. They can try to stack the box, but he's not one of those up, down the field around him. He's everywhere. So if they stack the box, Sean Payton's smart enough to move him around to defeat that. Like I said, I think Kamara is one of the maybe 3 running backs in the league that are bulletproof regardless of what happens. Like you could put 8 in the box on Barkley all day, and he's still going to get 80 to 100 yards a game.
Right. I think the thing that helps Kamara out is that he can catch out of the backfield. He's not just a pure runner.
Well, that's what Justin's talking about. You move them around, around your schemes, change up your play, and that falls back on being a good coach. And Sean Payton's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I do agree though, Zach. I think that Kamara might slip off a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think his upside is going to be as high as if Drew Brees were still healthy. Same thing for Michael Thomas. I think he's the one that's really going to take the hit on that team though. But the other player that New Orleans has kind of always been like a second tier that's going to get elevated from this is Murray, their backup running back, because now they're going to have a more run-based offense. So he's going to get more touches. So whoever has him as a backup in a fantasy league, that's a good one to keep as maybe a flex or something because his touches are going to increase.
Yeah, for sure.
But Justin, you mentioned earlier that Julio has strung together a string of games with touchdowns. How many in a row did you say it was?
6, baby. 6 games in a row.
That dates back to last season?
Yep.
Okay. So pretty much since I started talking shit, telling him that he needed to get in the end zone, he's been scoring. He
said, you know what? Brandon's right. I'm going to change this. I'm getting the end zone.
And he said, you know what, guys? We don't even have to agree to terms on money this season. I've just got to prove this loudmouth from this podcast right. So I'm going to come and make sure that I get extra practice. So
that's what I was going to say. Not only is he doing that, but he's doing this. He's in the same situation as Antonio Brown and all these other divas, and he hasn't said a single word about money. He showed up every day. He said that he showed up to help Ridley. He's being a team player. He's getting double teamed. He got double teamed all night last night and still had 2 touchdowns. I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to do, and he hasn't once even complained. When really he has every right to compared to these other wide receivers that are getting paid.
Yeah, but he got paid.
Yeah, and it looks like he's getting the ball more this year too.
Oh yeah, they need to. They should have last year.
They should have since he got there.
And you got him, and they bring a full-on blitz. Matt Ryan did it once yesterday, and he threw a pick. But anytime they bring a full-on blitz, and I got Julio Jones, I'm slinging the shit out of the ball.
Throw it as hard and as far as you can.
Yeah, go get it.
Yeah, I agree. That's the way that you play with speed.
Mm-hmm. And Ridley's tearing it up on the other side.
Yeah, I was going to say I think that the fact that Ridley and Sanu have stepped their game up a little bit takes the pressure off of Julio, and then that forces defenses to take them into consideration and not just shut down Julio.
Mm-hmm. Here's what happened last night. Me and Brandon was talking about. They doubled Julio, so what happened? Ridley just ate him up to pieces in the first half. So
almost every play, I was sitting there like, "Ooh, throw it to Ridley. He's open. Boom, hit him."
And then right after that, they guarded Ridley, and then what happened? Julio started scoring.
Yep.
I mean, you got to pick your poison. It's kind of like the Patriots right now. You can't guard Gordon, Antonio Brown, Edelman. I mean, who do you guard? You can't double. You can't do that no more.
Well, even the 4th string and 5th string wide receivers Philip Dorsett, N'Keal Harry. They're talented wide receivers that can go out. Oh, and by the way, James White, he can catch out of the backfield. Burkhead can catch out of the backfield. A lot of weapons in New England.
Yeah, scary.
Unfortunately, yeah.
They are going to be the team to beat this year, barring any crazy injury. But because of the injuries that have happened, there's not really any other clear-cut favorites. Maybe Kansas City can string it together, but we all know their history in the postseason. They tend to fall apart.
Yep.
The Ravens, we've been talking about Lamar Jackson having a fantastic season. That, they've played the Dolphins, and who did they beat this most last week?
Wasn't it Arizona?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's my point, is they beat two nobodies,
Right.
two lackluster teams. Let's wait and see, and when they actually play a good team, and see how they match up. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves with them.
Sure.
You know what impressed me is when Tyreek Hill went out and he didn't play this last week. I figured they would have their offense will slow up in Kansas City, but Damian Williams went there and had 2 touchdowns and 160 yards.
And the week before that, it was Sammy Watkins that went off. So Patrick Mahomes is that good.
Yeah.
He is that good that he can. All right, I lost my star wide receiver. Okay, I don't care. I'm throwing to whoever's open.
Yeah.
That's what Brady does.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown's not going to have a 200-yard reception or 200 receiving yard game or 18 receptions in a game or anything like that. He'll get 4 or 5, but so will Edelman. So will Gordon. So, the list goes on. He's going to make passes to whoever gets open.
Yep.
Ryan does the same thing in Atlanta. That's why Ridley had such a dominant first half.
Yep.
But we had some other games that were pretty good. I enjoyed watching at least the end of the Bears Broncos game. Did you guys catch the highlights for that one?
Yeah.
Came down to a field goal. The Bears finally have a field goal kicker, guys.
Oh man. The memes and the comments that were coming out of that, like, oh wow, finally somebody can kick a ball through some goalposts, or that was great.
I know Jose was pretty stoked about it.
Yeah.
It's got to be nerve wracking though. Every time that happens, when it comes down to a field goal, it's got to be regardless if your kicker's good or not. After what happened to him last year, it's just got to be a nerving thing.
Right.
Scared to death every time they line up for a kick.
Well, I think he's earned a little bit of favor now. He was 3 for 3 against the Broncos, so that sets a pretty good standard. Hey, I'm pretty good at what I do, as opposed to Adam Vinatieri that can't hit shit this year.
Yeah,
he's old, man. Just like Matt Bryant, he only missed 1 field goal, and he's still decent. But you saw that shank he had. I mean, they're both high 40s. I mean, how long? I know they're kickers, but how long can you really kick a ball? I mean, arthritis and shit's got to kick in eventually.
I mean, I'm mid 30s now, and some days when I get out of bed, it's like, oh God, that hurts. I don't know what the fuck I did, but it hurts. I can't imagine being in my 40s and trying to be a professional athlete still.
I think Vinatieri and Matt Bryant are both 48 and 49, almost damn near 50.
Yeah, I know when Vinatieri takes off his helmet, it's all salt and pepper, and
he looks about as old as the coaches do.
Right? Yeah, it looks like he could be a coach. But I think he's tiptoeing around the retirement word too.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's ready to hang him up, and I don't know. Indy seems to be falling apart, but yet they're doing all right on the field.
Yeah, I mean, if you got to think of it this way, he's probably one of the top few best kickers, if not the best kicker in the world. I mean, he's been doing it one of the best forever since I can remember in the NFL. I would rather go out as retiring than go out being let go. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you.
I don't care if he misses 10 more kicks. He's still a legend. I mean,
if he gets let go by the Colts, I hope the Patriots sign him to a 1-day deal so that he can retire.
That'd be awesome.
Retire as a champion.
Retire as a champion.
He's 46, by the way.
At 46. I don't know if he won any other titles before New England, but that's got to be one of the first of his career.
Yeah, he won
And
a few with Peyton.
But that was after his time in New England.
Yeah, it was after.
Like I'm talking 2001.
Yeah, that was his first, I would assume.
Yeah,
That was a big one.
that was. I mean, that one was literally because of him.
Yeah.
His foot got him to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So he's if the Colts just outright let him go, I hope the Pats sign him to a 1 day and just let him retire with head held high.
I would hope they would give him a heads up, kind of like, hey, we're going to have to let you go. You want to retire? That'd be the right thing to do. As much as he's gave to that city.
I don't know. Fuck them. The way they treated Peyton and all that shit. And what else did they do recently that I didn't like? I can't remember.
That owner's a dick. I don't know.
Jim Irsay, is that who it is still? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you said something about they did something with their old coach or something like that on the last episode.
Oh, no, that was something that they did good because they handled his cancer situation well.
Right, okay.
But I can't remember. They did something else recently, and I was like, well, fuck you too, Colts. I don't know. Whatever.
I can see it. I really can.
But if they just outright cut Vinatieri, fuck them again.
Yeah. Let me bring something up. This has to do with football, but I saw this in the news and it really pissed me off. It was the Titans. They saw some kid was mowing the yard, right? He was mowing yards. I don't know if y'all saw this, to save up money to go to college. The kid's probably 12 or 13 years old. Anyway, so Ron Rivera invited him over to mow grass at the field, right? Like around the stadium to help out with the grounds crew. And they went out and they got him like a brand new mower and all this new equipment so that he could earn money, right, to go to college. Well, everybody that I read was talking so much shit about this, saying, why didn't you give the kid a scholarship? Why didn't you do this? Dude, and it made me so mad because this is a team that's trying to help a kid out, do something on his own. But yeah, everybody is talking shit about it because they said they should have just gave him a scholarship instead of having him work for it.
Well, you said it was the Titans, right?
It was for whoever Panthers, Ron Rivera. Yes, the Panthers.
So the Panthers.
Yeah.
Okay. The Panthers aren't a fucking college.
I know. And it pissed me off because I'm like, dude, you can't do anything good for anybody nowadays because it's never enough.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have to do shit for this kid. You know what I mean? And I'm not Panthers are my enemy, but I mean, they gave the kid a brand new lawnmower, all this new shit, let him work at the field, gave him a signed Cam Newton ball, jerseys. I mean,
good for them.
But yeah, they should have paid for his college.
Yeah. Fuck those people.
It pissed me off. I had to bring it up.
If they knew what they were talking about, they'd realize that making the kid work for it would be way more rewarding for him. I mean, how many people do you know that are trust fund kids that are entitled and all that stuff? When you have to work for something and you actually earn it, it means a lot more. So they probably did this kid a favor.
True that. I agree.
Speaking of the giving stuff to people, you guys see the UT kid that got bullied for the shirt that he made, and then did they give him a scholarship or they gave him something, right?
They gave him the actual the home store donated like tons of jerseys and shirt. I mean, just basically they gave him the whole store, everything, helmets, shirts, everything. And then they made the t-shirt for the games, which has already broke the system, basically broke the website twice. But every bit of the money sold for that t-shirt's going to some kind of campaign dealing with bullying.
Nice.
And no, Zach's right. I did read that because of all the profits it generated for this cause and whatever, the University of Tennessee did extend a scholarship to this kid.
Oh, sweet! I didn't know that.
That's
awesome.
they said, hey, you can come to Tennessee whenever you ready to go to college or whatever. I wear Tennessee shit to work and get bullied, and I didn't get anything for it.
Should have went viral.
I guess I should expect it after we lose to Georgia State and BYU. But I still rock my tee.
I do too. I rocked it that day.
I thought the same thing whenever I saw that story. I was like, man, I wish colleges were giving scholarships out when I was getting bullied.
No shit. But I mean, not that bullying is fun or funny or anything, but damn, this kid's life changed because of it in a positive way.
Yeah.
So I hope it doesn't set the example for other kids to make T-shirts of their favorite team and then hope that they get the same outcome.
Yeah. I'm sure people will be wise to that kind of thing.
The copycat.
Yeah.
Did you see that last game? How many people had that shirt on?
The entire stadium almost. It was insane.
It was crazy, dude. Even the band. I mean, anybody that was in, even Smokey had one on. I mean, it was crazy. I never seen the same shirt in the stadium like that in my life.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Another cool thing that a college did was the Georgia, and they hosted Arkansas State, and the head coach's wife recently passed away of cancer, and they held what they called a pink out, and they completely decked everything in pink. They all wore pink to kind of show their support, and then they absolutely kicked Arkansas State's ass.
That's how
That's how that usually works.
Hey, I don't know if y'all heard this about Tennessee, but did you know even though Georgia State beat us, Georgia State couldn't afford for their band to come to the game. So the Tennessee band before the game went over to their side and played their fight song for them.
Oh, that's funny.
And then
Good
they
for
beat our
them.
ass. Then they beat our ass. So it's like all the opposite.
That was all they
Yeah.
knew.
But that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Extend a little, friendly competition stuff or whatever.
I
Fucking,
mean, if they knew the outcome, they wouldn't have done that shit.
I'm sure they would have messed it up on purpose or something. Does Tennessee beat Florida now that Franks is out?
Oh shit. It's hard to tell against Chattanooga. We actually had a pass rush, which we had none of against Georgia State. They ran the ball all over us. I would prefer Franks to be there because I don't think Franks is worth a shit. I honestly think he's probably one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the NCAA. So it don't bother me that Franks is there. I think we would do just as good with him there. We have to come out playing our A game. If we don't bring our A game, we don't come out of the swamp with the victory.
Let's see. Their backup quarterback is Trask, Kyle Trask. Is that right?
Yeah, he looked insane against Kentucky. He brought him back to win.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the Jags, for example. Minshew came in against the Chiefs and lit them up. He 22 of 25, threw for 2 touchdowns, 200 plus yards against the Chiefs, a team that a lot of people predict will be in the AFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy coming back against Kentucky. Yeah, Kentucky's decent. They're mediocre, but it's not like they came back against Alabama.
Yeah.
See, here's why this happens is when that guy gets hurt, they're game planning for the starter. So when the guy comes in and he's got a different play style, he comes in there, eats him up. We should have enough time to view that film and be able to stop the kid, especially at least harass him to where he's uneasy. But the way our coaching staff has looked, I just hope our coaching staff is smart enough to do that. Does that make sense? I hate to say that, but God, they just hadn't showed me shit this year.
Yeah, they really haven't. It's been real lackluster, and a lot of hype went into this season. And it's Jeremy Pruitt, is he just becoming the next in the long line of who's going to coach the Vols back to the promised land?
I think he's our coach. I don't hate on Pruitt. I think Pruitt's the guy. I think our defensive coordinator, it being his first time ever being a defensive coordinator, needs to go. We need to bring in some old head that's been doing it. I think our offensive coordinator, I know he used to do it for us in the past. I think he's old as shit now. It's time to bring in some talent on the coaching staff and quit worrying about recruiting as much. You know what I mean?
Now, I thought that they were making a little bit of change in that department when they brought in T. Martin to be one of the coordinators. But he's not even the head OC, is he?
He's the quarterback coach,
right?
He needs to be the head OC.
I agree. He did the job at USC for several years. I think he's perfectly qualified and should be handed the reins of the Tennessee offense.
I agree.
I mean, look what happened last time he was in control of the ball for Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Trophies,
Won a
baby.
national title.
Trophies.
Speaking
baby.
of,
Uh-oh. Oh, a big Al Wilson poster.
this was on my desk today. Allison and then went to Food City to get groceries, and apparently, I guess every so much money you spend, you get a poster. So I got a Al Wilson. Then I got Condridge Holloway, which I don't even remember him. He was in like the 70s.
Yeah, I don't remember that name either. That's kind of cool. You said Food City's doing that?
Yeah, and there's 4 of them. I've got the last 2. I've got 3 or 4 and 4 or 4, so I don't know who the other 2 are.
Shit, you should call up Andy, see if he can hold on to some for you.
I know I didn't even, I should. I hadn't even thought of that. I
Fuck,
might do that.
But like you were talking about with when a quarterback gets injured and a new guy gets brought in, the defense doesn't have that playbook for them. Same thing in baseball in September, whenever they bring up their minor leaguers to the major leagues, and you've got pitchers facing batters that they've never faced each other in the bigs. You don't have a scouting report on them because they've been in the minor leagues their entire life. So why would you? And then you see a lot of interesting matchups, and you see a lot of young guys that look real promising until next year or until next week or whatever, because, now all of a sudden we figured you out. Maybe that's going to be the same thing for Rask or Trask or whatever the fuck Florida's quarterback name is. Trask. What a fucking stupid name is that? I guess it's almost as bad as Garantano.
Yeah, I call him JG because I can't pronounce it.
Safe bet.
So, but yeah, baseball, we've had injuries happening left and right there too. So it seems like the month of September just can't get completed soon enough. Mike Trout's season is done. He's having season-ending surgery. Of course, Christian Yelich fouled a ball off of his kneecap and shattered the motherfucker. He's done for the year. Got to have surgery. Bellinger's still playing, but God, put bubble wrap around him.
Yeah, that's rough. I when I saw that Mike Trout had gotten hurt, I was like, oh, so he wanted to call it a season early. He didn't want to finish out September, huh? But
yeah, it's like whenever the SEC network started firing up, all of a sudden Tim Tebow was listed as injured. All of a sudden he had an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. And then you see him on SEC network.
I don't feel bad for Trout. I think I could heal pretty easy knowing I had, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars.
He'll be fine.
Just only $400 million. It's don't over exaggerate it.
Spread out what, 13 years?
Yeah.
He has to wait to get all that money.
Yeah, it's not a lump sum.
Oh God, I'd love to have a payment.
He has to live paycheck to paycheck. His paychecks just happen to be $300,000 or whatever.
Whatever they might be. He's a regular guy. It's like us.
Wouldn't that be some shit if you went to work and every day you went to work you got a check for like $300,000?
I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I would have a new Bugatti for every day of the week or some shit.
I would.
That's how you end up like Allen Iverson.
Yeah. Oh. This is my Tuesday car.
Shit, I'd have like a big gold chain and shit. I'd come in like Flavor Flav, gold teeth, the whole works. It's all right. I'll take my my pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, I don't see you with a Flavor Flav chain and a gold grill, by the way, especially with that accent.
Yeah, I can handle it. And I'd let my beard. I'd paint it gold too. Have a gold beard.
Just do the gold mustache.
Well, hey, by the way, it's came in pretty good, hasn't it? Since last time I was on.
It has. It's starting to look pretty nice. You just got to let it grow, man.
I'm not going to cut it this time next year.
Jesus.
That might be a little too much growing.
Watch out when you're getting food in your mouth there.
Dude, it already happens all the time. It's crazy. Every time I eat, my kids are like, "Something's in your beard, Dad," and I look down, it's like a piece of bread or something. I'm like, "Shit."
Got a whole
Oh.
cheeseburger in there.
God damn, that's a whole chicken wing.
Yeah, that's how I don't get
For that.
hungry. You know?
But yeah, so that really complicates some of the AL or the MVP conversations in both the AL and in the NL.
Yeah.
Because, Bellinger and Yelich have been neck and neck, and then Pete Alonso's been trying to sneak in there too.
Yeah. He's leading the home run battle right now, I believe.
Yeah, I think he's going to be on the outside looking in, no matter how they rule it in the NL. But his consolation prize will be Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I agree.
So, when it comes down to Yelich and Bellinger, I hate to say that Yelich's injury is going to cost him, but it might just do that. Because Yelich won MVP last year. Bellinger's had an MVP season this year. He's also going to play a few more games, pad his stats a little bit more.
Yep.
Lead his team into a playoffs. I think the voters are going to have that impression of him on the field leading his team and Yelich not. And I think they're going to lean towards Bellinger. It sucks for Yelly because he's had an MVP type season as well. Maybe they'll show sympathy and go co-MVP. Who knows? But I think definitively it's going to go Bellinger.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
In the AL, however, I think Mike Trout still gets it.
Yeah, I mean, who the hell else are you going to give it to?
I mean, the only other comparisons that I can think of is Rafi Devers that has had a fantastic season. He's leading the majors in hits, extra base hits. He's up there in RBIs. He's got 30 plus home runs, nearly 52, 53 doubles, almost 60 doubles. He's had a stellar season, but Trout's just been better.
Yeah, the voters apparently don't care about your boys over there in Boston.
No, there are a few other guys in the AL that, might be able to be in that conversation. DJ LeMahieu for the Yankees was hanging around there for a while. I'm sure I'm missing somebody that's real. Bregman's had a fantastic second half at least, and he's like 450 the last month on a batting average. He's been tearing the cover up the ball. So that's leaving a good impression in the voters' mind too, if you're tearing it up going into the postseason. So he might be a contender for it, but ultimately I think it's always going to fall back to Mike Trout.
Yeah, unless he misses a complete season, he's the default AL MVP.
Right. You have to have a stellar season like Mookie Betts in 2018 to knock him off. And by the way, Mike Trout was the runner-up last year.
Yep.
So it's like, what the fuck do you have to do to beat this guy? Red Sox are off tonight, but magic numbers like 4 for elimination. So any combination of them losing or the Rays winning, and they're done.
Nice.
Sucks.
But whatever.
Sucks, but is what it is. You're not always going to win championships. You're not always going to make postseasons.
Yep.
The Cardinals are.
Yeah, we've hit a bit of a skid. I think we lost 2 straight to the Brewers recently.
Ouch.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, the Cubs are still losing too, which is good.
That helps.
It's still real tight. I'm hoping we can squeak it out. But yeah, we'll have to see. Nonetheless, the NL Central this whole year has just been wild.
Right. I'm looking at the standings now, and St. Louis is in first, and then Chicago is 2 games back, and the Brewers are 3 games back. So it could still be anybody's game, but at least you guys have the leg up right now, and hopefully you can fend them off.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of things came together after the All-Star break. Starting pitching caught back up with, the rest of the league. We were pretty terrible at starting pitching in the beginning of the league, but Jack Flaherty has been phenomenal. I think I mentioned his numbers last episode, but yeah, it's good. Matt Carpenter finally got his shit together. He's been placed way back in the lineup. I think he's like 5th or so.
That's still the middle of the order. That's still where you put a power hitter.
Used to be the leadoff guy, which was stupid. And he just couldn't hit anything. And now he's at least hitting decently. He still has the shift on him and hits into it quite often. But yeah, a couple things got together that needed to come together, and we've made a push.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the NL Central's been pretty crazy this year. They're the only division in the NL that's still kind of up for grabs. Yep. The Dodgers have already clinched. The Braves have
5 months ago.
Yeah, they clinched back in January. The Braves have clinched a postseason berth and are on the verge of clinching their division. So it's definitely looking like the NL Central is a race to watch. But surprisingly, that nobody has clinched in the American League. I would have expected somebody to have clinched by now. Maybe the Yankees, who are million games up.
Yeah,
thought they would, but the Yankees' magic number is 3, Minnesota's magic number is 9, and Houston's magic number is 5. So wow. They're all closing in and should be there by our next episode for most of them. But Dodgers were the first, and then the Braves right behind them. So the NL getting things done.
Yep. Can't wait for October.
No, I'm excited for it as well. We're gonna have some special guests coming on our show to talk baseball with us and to get into the playoffs and stuff like that. Maybe we'll be doing 2 episodes a week during the playoffs or something like that, just to split the load a little.
Right.
Anyway, I saw that Conor McGregor's teasing that he might come back and fight. December 14th, he says in a cryptic tweet.
He just tweeted out the date.
Yeah, something like that. Like, I'll see you December 14th or whatever. I wonder if that coincides with the date of a UFC pay-per-view. I'm sure it must mean something.
Right.
He's full of shit.
Yeah, you said you're like, I hope I never see that fucker fight.
I don't care if I ever watch him fight again, to be honest with you. I'm over the whole shenanigans.
What is it about him? Is it his outside of the cage antics that turned you off?
It's that, him hitting that old man. It's that he ain't worth a fuck anymore. When's the last time he actually had a big win?
Yeah.
He beat Nate Diaz, but did he really? I think Nate Diaz whooped his ass the second time.
It's a very close decision.
I mean, it's been years since he's been the notorious. Now he's just a fucking big mouth Irishman. And I don't care if I ever see him fight again.
December 14th is the date of a UFC. It's UFC 245, which right now is headlined by Amanda Nunes and Germaine de Randamie.
Nice.
And the co-main is Jessica Ai and Vivian Araujo.
So like a girls' party.
Yep. Perfect card to put Conor on.
Yeah, it'll get eyes on it, that's for sure.
Yep. That's exactly what UFC would think too, is, a lot of casual fans probably aren't going to buy this card because it's headlined by the women fighters. So let's throw Conor McGregor on there and get the frat boy douchebag affliction wearing watchers.
Yep. And
viewers.
I think Conor has 2 perfect opponents that the UFC can choose from, and that's Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje. And either one I'm cool with.
Yep, that's what I mentioned in the text thread is that, Poirier would be a good one because he's coming off of the Khabib loss, and that would be a good way to get his career back on track if he were to be able to take off McGregor. But Gaethje he's hungry and waiting, and he's like, yeah, I'll fight him. Fuck it.
He destroyed Cowboy.
Yeah, knockout. Boom.
I mean, it was just, I don't know if you saw the highlight, but Gaethje is like looking over at the ref like, are you going to stop this? Like, I don't want to keep punching this guy because how can you hate Cowboy?
Everybody loves Cowboy. He's just a good time.
Yeah, and they had nothing but love after the fight. That was
Sure.
pretty- Yeah, that kid's an animal, and not a lot of people know about him. But Jesus Christ, I mean,
He's on his come up. He's on his rise to the top, and Conor McGregor would be a huge stepping stone for somebody like that.
yeah, if he goes out there and starches Conor McGregor, then people will know him after that.
Yep, absolutely. And I saw in the world of boxing recently that Fury called out someone,
He called out Wilder. Yeah,
called him a fucking bum.
it's funny though because that's the worst Fury's looked in forever.
Dude, he had a gash above
Oh.
his eyebrow that you
Yeah.
could park a truck in. That thing was
They about stopped the fight.
Really?
The doctor determined it was a punch, and they were getting ready to stop the fight, and the corner got it stopped good enough
What,
to
did
let him finish, so he won.
what did he put in there? Quick clot?
Shit,
probably.
they probably
Super
stuff enough Vaseline to kill somebody.
Yeah, that was some pretty good cut work there. Jesus Christ.
Sometimes it's all it takes. I mean, it was late, luckily. If that would have happened, at the beginning, he wouldn't have made it.
I would love to see that rematch, though.
Wilder knocks him out next time. Wilder fought with emotion last time. He came out just trying to kill him, which you can't do as a boxer. Next time he takes Fury out.
Yeah. I feel like Wilder's been a little quiet recently.
I mean, he ain't got nothing to prove.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Who does he have to fight?
I mean, he kicks everybody's ass that comes, that gets in the ring with him for the most part.
Right.
So he's pulling a Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just away while you guys suck.
Yeah, I mean, right now, as far as heavyweights, I mean, I guess Fury would be the next big
Rookie.
thing. Yeah, Joshua looked like shit. Joshua took those years off, and
Yeah, which is very interesting because that was the fight that everyone wanted to see when Wilder was on his come up, is Wilder and Joshua. But now
yeah,
Joshua's, I guess, gotten
that's
fat
why
ever.
that's why Wilder quit talking after Joshua got knocked out. I mean, that was it.
Yeah.
And Ruiz, I like the guy. He wouldn't last with Wilder. Who would even be?
Unless he gets a lucky shot off or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. He wouldn't last. Like I said, he couldn't. He ended up finishing Joshua, but he knocked him down how many times? I mean, he never really knocked him out.
Right.
Wilder's chin's tougher than Joshua's chin. I don't see it happening.
Yeah. It's always funny to see a big old guy in the boxing ring. Like you remember Butterbean, that giant dude that could fucking just wallop people.
Butterbean was awesome.
Yeah, it's so funny to see guys like that are clearly not in shape, but are nothing to fuck with nonetheless.
And
So
who's the other guy with the ponytail? He fought MMA. Roy Nelson.
Yep. Big country.
Yeah, Big Country. I liked watching Big Country. He's just a big ass redneck.
Yep.
But he can fight. He's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
good on the ground too. When I was younger, I was a huge fan of WWF, WWE, and all that shit. And they had a I forget what they call it, maybe a brawl for all or some kind of where the boxers put on boxing gloves and they were out there actually boxing for, I don't know, $10,000 or whatever. And the winner got a chance to fight Butterbean at a WrestleMania or SummerSlam or some shit. And Butterbean knocked that dude out. Knocked him the fuck out. Middle of the ring. It was if you remember Billy Gunn from Mr. Ass and all that, it was his tag team partner Bart Gunn that got knocked out.
That's hilarious.
I don't know
Butterbean
how
said
I
it-
remember that.
He said, "This shit's not fake, buddy."
You remember Butterbean on the Jackass movie?
Yeah, he gave Johnny Knoxville a concussion.
My
Yep.
God. Yeah, that dude, something else. Did he ever win any kind of championship or anything?
Yeah, he won a few. I mean, I don't think he won the WBC championship, but he definitely had some belts. Like I said, he was either knock you out or I don't know. He's just so damn big. Like if
Yeah.
he didn't knock you out, he was hurting.
Yeah, if he didn't knock you out in maybe 2 or 3 rounds, he was just gassed for the rest of the fight.
It's dumb. It is interesting because God damn it, he swung with everything he had.
Fucking A. Crazy. I remember the old boxing game Knockout Kings. You remember that on PlayStation? If you ever played as Butterbean, you basically won.
You know, they're talking about coming back out with another fight night with Mayweather on the cover. And that was my favorite game of all times. Like fight night round, I think it's round 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Like you actually had to know how to somewhat fight to win. Like it wasn't just going there swinging. You actually had to block and move your head. And
It was.
I love that game.
Yeah, Fight Night was good. Didn't you say that your son had a VR boxing game that was really good?
No, he don't have it. I saw him playing it though.
Okay.
They actually have a thing here in John City that they had Adam Townsend and they called my coach Roy and Brad and all of them over to play VR boxing together. And it looks cool, but like they told me, it don't really take much skill. It's more like just swinging like fast as shit. You know, like kind of like you hit the button, just going back and forth like this.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't think they've come out with one realistic enough to be considered great, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a lot that's been going on in the world of sports. You know, we're all active members in Sportszilla as well, and that's been something that's been pretty active lately. We now have blogs, unique blogs that are coming up with that members from our group are writing and publishing, and we're putting them out there, and it's starting to become something more. And it's cool that we were kind of a part of Sportszilla from the ground up, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, Justin, I don't know how much you've interacted in there or whatever, but every day there's conversations going on. Right now there's a poll going on of, you know, who's your GOAT, MJ or LeBron? And I think people are really liking that. There's already 30, 40 people that have voted on it, and it's just already sparked more conversation. I think Jared's looking to start trying to expand it in even more directions and get more video and audio groups and stuff like that, more podcasts to get involved. So it's something that's growing, and it's cool that we get to see it firsthand.
Yeah.
I've definitely been following up on it. I haven't been able to comment much. Like I said, I've been kind of down and out for the last little bit, but I definitely follow yours and Zach's and everybody's comments, and I'm just waiting on something snarky to say back.
Well, I'll definitely start some shit talking about the Falcons or something now that I know that you're lurking.
I'm lurking. I just, you know, I got a lot of people from work on there, so I kind of got to watch what I say on Facebook.
Well, see, that's the great thing about being in the group of Sportszilla is everything that you say just stays in the group. It's not seen by all the friends and family that are just on your profile.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, then now I'm definitely going to talk shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a public group, but if you're not in the group, like your comments and stuff don't show up on people's feeds.
Yeah. So your mom's not going to see you call Tom Brady a cocksucker or something.
I got you. I can handle that.
Sportszilla is a safe space.
Safe space.
Yeah, and you know, Jared's expanded it to where he's on Twitter. I think he's looking at Instagram. So follow the GOAT on Twitter. It's the Sportszilla on Twitter. He's always cracking some, you know, jokes or whatever about games that are happening, but he cheers for the biggest joke of the NFL, the Miami Dolphins. So whatever.
Yeah, be rough, man.
Yeah, it's got to be hard.
They're wearing the trash bags over the heads, and I see, yeah, they're fully embracing their shittiness.
And also, if you're already a member of Sportszilla, Jared wants to do a push to 500 members. So share it out to your friends and get people that you know like sports to join, because he's going to try to give away some Sportszilla swag, I believe, if we get to 500 members.
Yeah, I think he's mentioned T-shirts, stickers, car decals, keychains, all kinds of stuff that he's looking at trying to give away soon. So a lot of cool stuff. Invite your friends, get them on there. But you guys see anything else that you want to bring up, or are we good?
I've got a voicemail if we want to listen to it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Shoot, I forgot about those.
Hey, that's why I'm here.
That's why you are here.
All right, let's see.
You know who it's from? Is it a girl?
No, this is Harvey. He's talking about the Monday Night Football game. It's kind of already old news, and we've got another.
Oh,
one.
the Saints.
Yeah.
I was like, how's he talking about tonight's game?
Saints game. All right, that actually might be the one we played last week. So anyway, we do have a new one that we haven't played yet. So here we go.
Hey, what's up, Nest? So, as you guys know, I'm kind of a Packers fan.
Freebird.
And I'm going to try to keep the glorifying to a minimal here. But watching the Packers yesterday versus the Vikes, it's always going to be a good match. You know, and after about 30 minutes yesterday, our offense shits the bed. Aaron Rodgers can't seem to find a fucking target or even pay attention to what down it was. All right, we can all put biases aside, you know, on who's the GOAT here. But regardless, he's a top tier quarterback. You know, he should be performing way better. Especially to what his reputation is, he should be performing at least to the tier that Mahomes is playing at right now. It's ridiculous. Anyway, as for the running game, it looked pretty decent. Aaron Jones is getting a little bit better, but the ultimate thing that it came from that game, that the refs saved the game. The refs and the defense. I understand that the NFL is trying to put forth more rules and regulations on the offensive pass interference or just pass interference in general when it comes to looking after touchdown plays. But it really kind of felt like they were screwing out the Vikings on that one. And I'm a Packers fan, so it just felt a lot. It just felt like there was a lot going on there. But yeah, the defense and the refs saved that game. And this is coming from a Packers fan. All right, see you.
All right.
Jerome?
Thanks for calling in, Jerome. Appreciate that voicemail.
Not,
A lot to digest there.
Yeah, not a fan of Aaron Rodgers' gameplay so far.
Yeah. A lot to get into there. Aaron Rodgers, mediocre quarterback, as I've said for years now, so that's no surprise. Not knowing what down it was, that was pretty comical. He went to the line thinking that he had a first down. It was really fourth down. He called a run play. It lost yardage, turnover on downs. Oops, my bad. There's your fucking greatest of all time quarterback.
That's
Idiot.
hilarious.
But yeah, that's comical.
Game at all?
Say what?
Did you watch that game at all?
No, I didn't. I just caught the highlights.
I didn't either.
It wasn't broadcast in my market.
Right.
Let's see. You said the defense and the refs
Helped out.
It seems like the refs have been making quite a few mistakes this year. I know they made a huge mistake in the Saints-Rams game too.
Yeah.
Cameron Jordan should have been in for 6 on that, which, I mean, in retrospect, may or may not have changed the outcome of the game. You don't know. You don't know how the game would have played out any differently. I do know that if Drew Brees wouldn't have had to come into the game to try to drive the ball, there's a chance he may have never been injured. If
Right.
that touchdown counts, then the ball gets kicked back to the Rams, completely changes the flow of the game. So, who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah, it seems like refs are again screwing teams over. Just as the Saints fans were getting over last year, get them all fired up again.
Yep. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that we didn't have a new message from Harvey talking about that. I figured he would be the new voicemail that you were talking about that we had. I
Right.
figured he was all fired up.
Has Harvey called in trying to get a trade yet?
Not on the podcast. I don't I don't think he's hit me up for a trade in the league yet either.
Yeah, me either. But last year, my God, dude, he would text and text and text. And I'd be like, yeah, when I get home. And then he'd try to like call me through Messenger. Then he'd send me another text. I was like, dude, I ain't even got home, bro. But I give it to him though. He ended up doing really good because of that.
He's persistent and he doesn't give up on it.
Very, very persistent. If he wants a trade, he's gonna do everything in his power to get a trade.
Yep. He'll sell a defense. He'll sell the upside of a defense for days until you finally take it.
I give him credit, man. I couldn't do it, but he, like I said, he got me a few times. Just I got to the point where I was like, dude, just take them. You know, it's just like for the effort. I mean, I'm already me and Zach last year was in dead last. I was like, what I got to lose?
Yeah, it's not looking good again this year.
Speak for yourself, buddy.
Yeah, Justin's had a complete turnaround. Zach's pretty much, you've had the injury bug yet again.
Yep.
It bit another guy in our group that did really well last year, but it bit him this year, and now he's floundering around the bottom. And that was a Nation of Domination. He's in, I think, the championship game last year, and this year he's probably going to end up down near the bottom just because injuries and things like that. Right. A lot of people are saying like the lack of preseason play is what's leading to all these stars being injured at the beginning of the season.
They didn't have a chance to warm up, man.
Interesting. Isn't that what practice is for?
I mean,
you can't go full fade in practice though.
Yeah, yeah. I dare you to let somebody hit Patrick Mahomes in practice, hit Drew Brees in practice.
Well,
see what happens.
I don't. You think getting hit is the difference between getting injured early and not?
I think so. I think you need to feel the contact. You need to play actual minutes in a game. Mm-hmm. Get the feel for eluding a rusher. Get the feel for what's it going to be like when somebody's actually coming after me. Not, oh, hey, buddy. Yeah, we'll go have a steak dinner after this.
Right.
Well, it's like in practice. If you go full speed and somebody gets hurt, it's 100% chance it's your team. In the preseason, it goes down to 50% because it's, you against another team. So, I mean, it's just that risk is. So they could be running full speed and just trip on each other's feet and break their leg or break their ankle, or just so much can go wrong. That's why the quarterbacks wear those bright red jerseys, and they, half the time they don't even have full pads on and all that junk, just because there's so much injury risk in practice.
I mean, it's like they know how to play football. When they're practicing, they're just learning specific plays anyway. So they're just drilling plays. They don't need to have the full gear on in practice.
And plus,
in a game, they do.
It's a contact sport. I mean, you're going to get hurt. You can't go a length of time without getting hurt in football. Like, it's just literally impossible, I think. So it's just one of those things that's nature of the beast when it comes to football.
Yep.
Speaking of injuries, fantasy football. Brandon and I are very close tonight, and he has Le'Veon Bell, and I've got OBJ. I forgot that they're playing in the Jets Stadium, which is OBJ's old stomping ground. I just saw a video of him getting fired up on the field, jumping around. OBJ's ready, my friend.
Oh, I guess you didn't see the other part of that where he twisted his ankle, and he's ruled as questionable for the start of the game.
You're crazy.
I'm just joking. I wish that's my best case scenario is that he stubs his toe and can't play tonight.
So who do y'all have tonight? The Jets or the Browns?
We are the bandwagon podcast for the Browns. So I guess by default we have to go Browns. But if that offensive line doesn't protect Baker Mayfield, it's going to be hard to score points.
I'm going Browns because Sam Darnold has mono and he's not playing. So, but because of that, I hope that means they're feeding Le'Veon Bell all fucking night.
You'd have to assume that, right?
I hope he has 3 touchdowns and Odell stubs his toe and doesn't play tonight.
I was going to say I'm going for the Browns, but I was getting ready to say I hope the Jets, so that way they, Well, I guess I hope the Browns, because that way the Jets are behind and they're slinging the ball the whole time, trying to get down the field. So Le'Veon becomes a glorified pass blocker.
I want the Jets to go up 21-0 on the strength of 3 Le'Veon Bell touchdowns, and then just run the clock the rest of the game.
And just knee it, just take a knee.
Just kill the clock. All right, guys. Well, let's get off here and watch some football. Let's watch Monday Night Football, and we'll be back next week. Justin, you're coming back, right?
Yeah, I'm good to go. I'm healthy. I'm ready.
All right. You doing your other podcast this week too?
Yeah, we're supposed to. We got a guest coming on. We're waiting to hear back from him, but we should have it out on Saturday.
Cool. Saturday morning, Into the Woods comes out. Anywhere podcasts are available. They have a lot of local guests to the East Tennessee area and cover, local football, high school football, stuff like that. And you guys talk about some crazy shit from time to time too.
Yeah, and here lately, our guests have been all over. We had the guy from Florida down near that lives in Jacksonville, the Appalachian Trail guy, and we had the guy over the pond in England. So we do have a lot of local guests, but we're trying to broaden that horizon.
Cool.
Yes, you would say.
I mean, it's a fun listen. So if you're into sports and just two dudes bullshitting, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's about it. We don't really have nothing specific. We just talk about whatever comes to our mind.
That's the best way to do it sometimes. That's how you get sperm banks and pee sprinklers.
That's
But all right, guys, well, we're out of shit to talk about. We hope you tune back in next week, and peace.
It's you. You have to stop it.
We have music to play.
Oh, my bad. And
Stay connected with Brandon and Zach on Facebook and Instagram at The Nest Podcast. And tune in next week for a brand new episode. And thanks for listening.
You fucked that one up.